Check, check. Hello everyone. Once Thomas Jefferson said that every human mind feels a pleasure in doing good to others. Think of a moment when somebody was kind to you. Now, think of a time when you were kind towards another person. Now move into your heart and notice the warm feelings you had. Mankind leaves a lasting impression on both the active and passive side. I am pretty sure that I can make you all think about this latent mankind before you leave this forum. When you hear this phrase, the power of mankind, what instantly comes to your mind would be something about the human intellect emotions. By the way, I am not here to give any advice because I remember my teacher in my school telling that advice is the only thing which people do not want to listen to. So, I do not want to bore my audience. I am here to share an idea, moreover a thought which I felt it was true and powerful. I am Ms. Vaishnavi, a pupil of KRM Public School, Chennai, India, here presenting my TED Talk on Kindness Redefined. Human spirit is a component of human psychology. In simple words, it is a spiritual or mental part of humanity. This humanity refers to the quality of being humane, and it also refers to the kind feelings which often humans have for each other. So, before I get into a long theory, let me just share a short story. I am not putting this out of my brain. This is an allegory which I heard somewhere long back. Once in a village, there lived an old man who had 3 sons. One day, this old man called all of his 3 sons and said, "You are all good for nothing. Instead of sitting and quarreling with each other, just go and do a kind act." He said, kind act in the sense, if you find an old woman, at least help her to cross the street. At least do that much of help. The boys nodded, and evening when they came back home, father asked the eldest son about what was the kind act he performed that day. For which he replied that he had helped an old woman to cross the street. The father was very happy on hearing that and asked the same question to his second son, for which even he replied that he had helped an old woman to cross the street. Now the father thought, maybe there would have been 2 old women to help them cross the street, and asked the same question to his third son, for which surprisingly even he replied that he had helped an old woman to cross the street. Now the father was puzzled. He asked, "My boys, did you find 3 old women to help them cross the street?" They said, "Father, who is talking about 3 old women? We are talking about the one old lady whom we helped to cross the street." Then he asked, "Does it require 3 men to help one old lady to cross the street?" They said, "Father, in fact we felt that we were not enough, so we called our cousin Raju also to come and help us." Then just imagine how adamant that lady would have been. She was not willing to cross the street, and at last we 4 of us held all of her limbs and made her to cross the street. On hearing this, father felt deprived. Similarly, once when a monk was accompanied by a simple man in a train journey, they started interacting about spirituality. It was night time, and soon this monk lied on his berth. This man went and massaged his leg, believing that it was making the monk feel comfortable. He massaged for 10 minutes, 20 minutes, and even an hour passed by, but the man was still massaging even in the drowsy state. Now for the monk, it was causing disturbance as he couldn't turn his body and he didn't know how to stop this man. At times, out of our utmost enthusiasm, we forget to analyze things, which makes our good turn a bad to the receiver. We often encounter people who earn their livelihood by selling things like chocolates, pens, flowers, and many such items of daily use. They earn less, but they live with dignity as they refuse to give up to the condition they have fallen in. For them, kindness can mean getting their products rather giving them a sum of money, because at the end of the day, they can have a satisfaction of them earning their own bread. Acts of mankind are not something which can be manipulated. As of when once a student was late to his school, his teacher asked for the reason for being late. The student replied, "It was because of the sign down the road." Now the teacher asked, "What does the sign have to do with you being late to school?" He said, "In the sign it was written, 'School ahead, go slow.'" Because we often hear of being positive and having an empathified feeling towards others. But the truth is, these emotions cannot be brought in through us to practice. But then why at times we don't behave so? The answer is, we might get held up in a network of false belief which includes all emotions like fear, anger, disgust, melancholy, loneliness, annoyance, etc. But once we come out of this network, start to think practical and take up responsibility, then the world is just amazing. But before that, let me tell, kindness and humanity is inbuilt in ourselves. We saw it when Tamil Nadu responded to its flood in 2015, where along with the government, people were posting their addresses online, offering food and shelter. Range of families cooking all night to serve it to the hunger. And thoughtful Chennaites with internet access offering to recharge mobile phones for the people with no balance or electricity. So those were our moments to cherish. Similarly, on August 7th, the AIE flight from Dubai with 190 people on board had overshot the tabletop runway, falling into a valley 35 feet below, had broken into two portions. This Karipur airport belongs to the Malappuram district of Kerala, and as soon as the mishap occurred, the locals of Malappuram had come in praise to save the passengers, unmindful of the downpour and COVID-19 fears. As many as 135 locals and 42 policemen who had joined the rescue mission had to go on for a quarantine as a precautionary measure. Captain Deepak Sathe, who had happily embraced his death, making two brave attempts for a safe landing, and as soon he realized that the plane is going to crash, he turned off the engines, saving many lives. It was not just courage, but a touch of humanity. The recent COVID-19 pandemic was a big shock to every one of us, but the act of kindness were winning over the crisis. We saw people serving bread and biscuits to their security guards so that they can help people looking for it. And families keeping food and milk outside for the animals like stray dogs and cats because animals can find anything out for them to eat. So now mankind is not just between humans. It involves showing concern towards the animals and adding on some sustainable acts to the earth we live, because like any homes, earth looks its best when it is nice and clean. And what not, free meals and balcony concert, almost everything which proves that humanity is contagious. Taking about to humanity, a standing ovation to all these warriors who had showered us with their kindness and humanity during the uncertain incident. We owe you all a lot. We striving and standing together today is because of the togetherness we had. But then the question arises, is this only required at the time of catastrophe? Perhaps we had helped people with things which we had in surplus. But what about the humane part? This part of kindness speaks the loudest to me. Because as civilized as we think we are, there are still so many acts happening around us that cannot be called anything close to humane. Nowadays, it has been a common occurrence, crimes being committed against senior citizens as they are one of the easy targets. And sometimes aging parents are left all alone, no one to look after them. Financial scams, robbery, the examples are too numerous to name. And the hardest fact is that these acts are done by humans who classify themselves to be kind but have truly forgotten what that means. And the plain fact is that the planet does not need more successful people, but it desperately needs more healers, restorers, and peacemakers. On contrary, there are other few categories of people who have opted to take kindness for granted, which has recently made us hear the ironical face of rich beggars, of over 4 lakhs of people in this profession. I am not generalizing things, as there may be exceptional cases where some have resorted to it. But if you think there is no genuine reason in giving money or alms to beggars, then switch on to an act which you think can actually benefit them. Now, I cannot prohibit myself speaking about bargaining, which is an ingrained culture. Needless to say, the roadside shops and vegetable markets, we see customers negotiating with the vendors to get the best price. And particularly ladies are more proficient in this business to get the best discounts. But have you ever thought how much of money we would have saved by squeezing these vendors? Whereas we go to supermarkets and malls, we find the big boards written fixed price. We just pay the billed amount without uttering a word, since it's a question of a prestige. So if you think everything around you to be practical, then you can accustomedly find a solution. As said by Mother Teresa, that we don't have to do for big things, all we have to do is do the small things with great love. As we all know, a country's growth is relied on a well-educated and skilled society, and knowledge gives the power to the children to think of a better future. There is a college professor who per annum takes as his responsibility to pay the college fees for 10 really aspiring students, because he believes that education is the only catalyst that can pull families and communities out of the cycle of poverty. And whenever the students come to show the gratitude, he asks them to carry the same act of mankind to the next, throwing light on the redefined meaning of kindness, which means helping someone with what they actually require. Now, money is not the only requirement. This food has a special power. My mother says this: whatever you give to a needy, you help him with money or clothes, they will not have an inner contentment. They will want to have it further. But in the case of food, once the tummy is full, the person by himself says, "Thank you for giving me this." Those words are from inner contentment, and hearing those words are really worth. Once when I and my family, we were in a train journey, so we used up 3 parcels of food we had out of 4, and we had 1 left. We didn't want to throw it away. At the same time, we cannot afford to go and ask people whether they need it. Fortunately, a devotee who was on his way to a pilgrim was asking everyone whether he could get some food. So when he came to us, we gave the food left out with us, and you won't believe, even the next day we got on the train, the man was so grateful to us. But then we came to know that if we didn't have helped him with food last night, he wouldn't have had his supper. Not because he didn't have money, but he knew that the train wouldn't stop at the station where he thought of getting food. So even though it was not a very big service mission, we had a satisfaction of helping someone with what they actually required. I'm pretty sure that everyone here would have at least felt this once. As I mentioned, humanity is inbuilt in ourselves. But I now think kindness is one of the biggest confusions around the true meaning, and the modern world is very comfortable around the idea good people not succeeding. We say the world is unfair. Let me take a reference from the nature. The tree, which grows big, shedding out its branches, provides shelter to many people from the scorching heat. But the tree is not in a notion to make others feel comfortable. It is just living the way it is, which brings its inner good characteristics out. Now, when I say this, we of course know about the theory, the survival of the fittest, which is at times misinterpreted, which stops our inner good to come out. Then a quote from Bhagavad Gita can explain this. It says, "Datavyamiti yaddanam diyate nupakarine deshe kale cha patre cha tadhanam satvikam smritam," which in simple words means that a gift is pure when it is given from the heart to the right person at the right time without expecting anything in return. So when you expect anything for your deeds, you build up a desire. The fulfillment of the desire leads to greed, while unfulfillment of desire may lead to anger. Is the nature expecting anything back for its deeds? If it does, then it would have become a business, giving something and taking back something. Another thing which I think prominently hinders is the system around us. In one of my uncle's apartments, he received a message stating, "My mother is sick, we are abroad, just someone go to this door number and help her out." Out of 190 people in the group, only 2 young men came out for help. They took her in car to the hospital. The doctors checked and declared that she was COVID positive. Now those 2 young men were in shock, as they were the only earning member with a lot of commitments, and now they were quarantined. So even when we come across the road accidents, we just stop to see the situation, feeling pity on the person, and we just move away, not because we do not have a soft corner, but we think, or we be cautious of not falling in any time consuming trouble. So is the fault within us or with the system around us? All what we can believe is what's said by Anne Frank, that no one has yet become poor in helping others. Every religion teaches us humanity, which is the prime reason we get to hear people like Dalai Lama quoting that humanity is their religion. These acts do have a scientific explanation. According to Dr. David R. Hamilton, a simple act of mankind creates an emotional warmth, contributing in releasing a hormone oxytocin, which can dilate the blood vessels, lowering the blood pressure, hence making us feel good. Once Swami Vivekananda, after his guru Ramakrishna attained Samadhi, he wanted to take his master's message to the West. So before he headed west, his mother wanted to test whether he was all perfect for the mission or not. So she invited him for a dinner. He enjoyed the delicious food which had the additional flavors of his mother's affection. Soon after the dinner, his mother offered him a dish of fruits and a knife to cut and eat it. After which she asked, "Son, can you give me that knife? I need it." Soon he responded by giving it. Soon she received, she calmly said, "Son, you have passed my test and I heartily bless you for going abroad." Now he was surprised. He asked, "Mother, what was the test and how did you test me?" She said, "When I asked for the knife, you gave the knife holding its sharp edge and the wooden handle towards me, so that even when I take, it wouldn't hurt me. Which means you took a good care of me." Being compassionate and having an ability to take good care of others is a remarkable quality. As the law of nature says, the more selfless you be, the more you receive, and so did. Being a girl 16 years down the lane, I may or may not sound true, but I believe in this latent mankind and I thought it was worth sharing. 206 bones in approximately 1.5 gallons of blood can give humans the ability to walk and talk, but it cannot define a human, because it needs ability to feel emotions like love and to make mankind a race. Let me remind, we cannot help everyone, but we can help someone in a day, which can even be the baby steps of mankind. Moreover, these acts have to be selfless. Thank you for listening to me so patiently. Hope you all had a great time with me this afternoon. This is Vaishnavi signing off. Thank you.